I will give 7 of relevance, right? But you need to know this information, right? It's part of your knowledge in English about American culture. So let's learn what is a time zone. A time zone in the United States, it's difference in the schedule, 1 hour forward or 1 hour backwards, depending in where you live. In Latin America, some of the countries have that difference of schedule, but some of the Central American countries, I would say all of them, they don't have it. So in the United States, for you to know, we have almost 9 currently time zones used in the United States. That's a lot of it, right? If you open the link, you will see the time of your computer compared with this time. For example, if you can see here in Guatemala, it's 11:41. In Hawaii, it is 7:41. We have 3 hours of difference. So Hawaii has 3 hours backwards. Guatemala has 3 hours. 4 hours forward. 4 hours forward, 4 horas adelante, backward, 4 hours atrasadas, no? All right, so we have 2 time zones for Hawaii, 1 for Alaska, 1 for Pacific. We have mountain, standard time, right? We have a standard and daylight time, central daylight time, and eastern daylight time. Okay, and here we can see the difference in the hours. But we have four time zones in the USA that we use as a reference when we work in a call center. When we work in a call center, we need to know Pacific time, Mountain time, Central time, and Eastern time. All right. These are the 4 generalized time zones in the United States. So if you open the link, you will see how much time of difference you have from your country in the United States, right? For example, Pacific time. Pacific time, it's 10:43, so it's only 1 hour of difference with Guatemala. Mountain time is almost the same time. Central time, they have 1 hour forward. It's 12:43 in Central time. And in Eastern time, they have 2 hours forward, right? It's 1 p.m. with 43. So for example, in Pacific time, if we click, we can see what states observe that Central time. For example, Pacific time is observed by California, Idaho, specifically the western side, Nevada, Oregon, except one area of Malheur County, and Washington. That's Pacific time. And in Canada and the Mexican states, that's another story. Okay. For example, if we go back and we click Mountain time, we will see what states are covered by the Mountain time. Of course, there are the states who have mountains and a lot of snow and that weather. Okay, for example, we have Arizona, Colorado, Idaho. Most part of the state, except the western part. La parte oeste, esa no. Solo la mayoría de la parte de Idaho. Idaho is a big place, actually. Kansas, Montana, Nebraska, again, the western area, right? New Mexico, North Dakota, specifically the south and western parts, Oregon, specifically the Malheur County only, and South Dakota, again, the western part, Texas, Utah, our favorite place to go, right? Utah and Wyoming. Not all the places have that mountain time, but they know what time zone they follow accordingly to the time they have. How do we know? We can use internet to know and only asking to the people, right? But they will always go for the mountain time. Then if we go back, we will see the central time. This is one of the most used in the United States, central time, right? And we use the central time in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and Wisconsin. And very specific parts of Central Time. And at the end, we have the Eastern Time. Eastern Time. And it includes the states of Connecticut, Delaware, Columbia, Florida, specifically these areas, Southern and Eastern, Georgia. Indiana is complicated because it's a very big place too. So Kentucky, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Dakota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vermont, Virginia, and West Virginia. So as you can see, United States is a very big country. If you have traveled to United States, you can tell that again. It's a big country. So they need a different kind of schedules according to the weather they live. Some of them, they will experience more hot weather than other places according to the area and the location of the sea. But why is this important, class? Why is this important? Because you will work in a USA company, that means in a call center, you will need to know what time zone is the time zone where your customer is calling you.
Teacher?
Where your customer is calling you. Yes, Edward?
I have a question. I listened that once the links list used the time zone in United States is mountain time. Is correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
And you mean which state specifically?
In my explication.
But what state is mountain time?
A mountain time. Why is least used?
What is a split?
List menos.
Es menos que.
Menos usado. List.
Oh, mountain time is the less used. It depends on the area. It depends on the area because remember that mountain times is how close you live to the mountains, how close you live to the places where the snow is. So it's not that they don't use it a lot. It is that maybe not all the states in the United States have mountains.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, very good. For example, if someone of Utah is calling you and you work in Guatemala, it's almost 12 o'clock, right? It's 11:50, okay? And if someone is calling you from mountain time, well, you can say, Okay, if your customer asks you in the phone, okay, what time the promotion is over? You can say the promotion is over at 6 p.m. Let's imagine that you have a promotion. Digamos que trabajan para un call center que ofrece una promoción de regalo hasta las 6 de la tarde. Como ustedes tienen el Mountain Time, si viven en Guatemala o tienen el mismo horario de Guatemala, podemos decir, sí, se termina a las 6. But what happens if someone of Eastern Time calls you and you only say 6 p.m.? They have 2 hours forward. So when it's 6 p.m. for they will be 8. So will be a difference in the time, right? And what about if you talk with someone from Pacific time and you say, yes, at 6 p.m. everything is over. At 6 p.m. that will be 5 p.m. for them. If we don't specify the time zone, what is going to happen is that they will lose the promotion. Ellos se van a perder la promoción porque no supimos darle la diferencia de horario y no van a estar felices. I can assure you that. Hugo?
What happened with the Western time? And
Western?
Southern. Western and Southern.
Let me check because here we don't have a specific time zone for Western. It's not used actually. These are the time zones that are used in United States on this moment. That's why if you could notice in some of the states, they include the Western parts of every state. Por ejemplo, Idaho ya incluye su parte oeste en cada estado. So this is a lot of content to understand the time zones because they include a lot of facts depending on how the people wants to live, right? So when they see the news, and it also depends on the weather, right? Depends on the weather because if it's snowing, si está nevando, cambia la time zone. Y todo esto se actualiza. But you will know. When you work in a call center, your supervisor, your manager will tell you, okay, remember that if someone calls you from New York, etc., we need to say the promotion ends at this time. When I worked in a call center for a beauty company, all our promotions were in Central Time, all of them. So we needed to say the promotion ends at 8 p.m. Central Time. If you didn't say that, you were penalized as an agent because it is mandatory to say Central Time. That was our rule in that company, right? Why? Because people got crazy when they could have a promotion. Cuando sale un producto de belleza nuevo, las personas, mujeres en Estados Unidos se vuelven locas. ¿Sí? Entonces, salió una cremita de any brand, right? Y la promoción empezaba a las 4 de la mañana. Desde las 3 ya estábamos teniendo pedidos. So imagine that. They are just ready to get that product. Lo mismo si trabajan para Nike. Cuando salgan las Jordan, van a pedir un montón. ¿Sí? So that's basically what happens. And that's why we need to understand what is the time zone of every state. Most of the time, what we will need to know is what time it is now and what time it is from the state that they are calling us. So we can ask what time it is in your country, in your state, or we can have the chart. Normally in the call centers, they give you the tools. En los call centers allá hay herramientas para ver eso, pero tenemos que hacer énfasis en la zona horaria para no equivocarnos, no dar información que no debemos. Porque se enojan mucho los clientes, mucho. A lot. Okay, and for the last, we have the daylight saving time. And this is very simple, class. Let's read the definition. Let's see, Jose Malerva, can you help me to read the definition of daylight saving time?
Daylight saving time is the practice of setting the clocks forward 1 hour from standard time during the summer months and back again in the fall in order to make better use of natural daylight.
Very good. That happens in the United States a lot. So 1 hour forward or backwards, it depends in your company. The company will tell you. But if you live in North America, Central America, Europe, Asia, and North of Africa, daylight starts in March or April and ends in September or November. If you live in Australia, New Zealand, and South America, the daylight saving starts in September and ends in March. Al revés. Why do we need to know that, class? Cuando ustedes apliquen a un call center, tengan muy en cuenta lo siguiente. Si el horario que les dan es de 9 a 6 p.m. y usted a las 7 tiene clase de la universidad, recuerde que va a haber un momento en el que usted va a entrar a las 10 y va a salir a las 7. Eso es el daylight saving. Se adelanta 1 hora. O bien se atrasa 1 hora. O bien no se hace nada. Eso depende en la empresa en que usted trabaje. Si hay daylight saving, normalmente se adelanta 1 hora. Entonces, no le va a dar tiempo de ir a la universidad si usted sale a las 7. ¿Qué pasa si le cae una llamada a las 6:59? Usted no va a salir a las 7, va a salir a las 7:15. Por ejemplo, si mi horario es de 3 de la tarde a 9 de la noche y el último bus sale a las 9:30, yo tengo que saber que va a haber un tiempo en el cual yo voy a entrar a las 4 y voy a salir a las 10. Entonces, si el último bus salía a las 9:30, tal vez va a tener que pedir dormir con el guardia ahí en el edificio. ¿Por qué? No va a tomar ese bus. Entonces hay que tomar en cuenta eso cuando usted vaya a aplicar, ¿verdad? Es un cambio de horario rutinario, después vuelve otra vez a su horario normal, ¿sí? Y es un poco molesto a veces. Yo tenía un horario de 6 de la mañana a 4. Me encantaba ese horario. A las 4 yo salía, llegaba a mi casa antes que todo el tráfico empezara. Daylight saving de 8 a 5. Tráfico en la mañana, tráfico en la tarde. Horrible. Como por casi 4 meses así. Después otra vez volver. 6 de la mañana a 4. No traffic in the morning, no traffic in the afternoon. Pero eso era lo único que me afectaba a mí, porque no estaba estudiando a esa hora. Pero si ustedes van a estudiar al mismo tiempo, o tienen llamamiento, o tienen una cita, recuerden que va a llegar un tiempo en el que van a tener que adelantar 1 hora. Y depende de la empresa. Right? That's